In this video tutorial, let's get started with Eclipse. Eclipse is one of the popular IDEs used to develop Java applications. It is an open source. There are other IDEs like IntelliJ, NetBeans, etc. Once you learn one particular IDE, you should be able to move to another IDE. There are certain steps involved in setting up the perspectives in views and so on. Let's first start installing the Eclipse IDE. So let's go to this Eclipse installation directory. So if you go to Eclipse download, and this is the latest version, so click on download 64-bit, which is the Eclipse Neon. You then click on the download button. The Eclipse installation Windows 64 exe will pop up. You save it, and then you need to double click on that exe file. So there are a number of different Eclipse IDEs. So there's a basic one. There's a JE Java Enterprise Edition developer. So this is the one we'll be downloading at the moment. And there are other Eclipse IDEs for C++, for PHP developers, and so on. So we are going to develop Java Enterprise Edition application. So let's download that. I should say let's install this, and then the installer will start, and you need to provide C tools. So C tools is the folder we established in one of the earlier tutorials to store our tools like JDK, Maven, and in this case we're going to store Eclipse into the C tools folder as well. So when you click on the install button, it'll take some time and it'll install it, and then you can launch it. The same way we set up different folders for the projects, scripts, and tools, when you work with Eclipse, it is also a best practice to have a separate workspace. So Eclipse work on workspace. Workspace is a folder where Eclipse will put all its Eclipse related metadata. You want to keep a separate folder because if you move to a different IDE like NetBeans or whatever, your projects will be in its own folder, and all the Eclipse related workspace related data will be in the C workspace folder. So I have already created a workspace folder here. This is the workspace folder, and also we already have a projects folder. So now I have installed it, and let me open. So when Eclipse open up, it will ask you for a workspace folder. So you point to C workspace as your workspace folder. And then when you open Eclipse, it will have a navigation, Package Explorer navigation section on the left hand side. In the middle is where you will open your Java code and you will work with the Java code. And also another important thing to note is at the top on the right hand side, you have different perspectives. So if you go into Windows, you can select different perspectives. So you have a Java perspective, Java Enterprise Edition perspective, and so on. And also you have different views. So for example, you have the console view, you got the error log view, you got the problems view. So you will see any compiled problems. So these are all individual. So problems is a view, Java doc is a view, console is a view. So now if I change this to JE perspective, see it'll move to slightly different organization of all these views. So let's go back to the Java view, and also you can have a debug view as well. So for example, I can go here, perspective, and open perspective, and I can say debug, and you can see here now you got a debug view as well, debug perspective I should say. So when I click on the debug perspective, now the whole layout has changed slightly, and it will allow you to debug your code step by step. So it is important to understand this concept of perspective. So you need to be in the right perspective to be more productive, and also you can open and close different views. So let's go back to the Java perspective again. See, for example, you have a console view here. This is where you will get the output when you run a Java application. I can close this console, and if I want to get this back again, I go into Window, Show View, and I click on Console. and then console comes back again. So for this Eclipse tutorial, let's look at one of the projects that we created earlier on when we were working without an IDE. Basically, we created these projects outside an IDE. So we created a folder called Beginner Project 1. Inside that, we created com main package. Inside the com main package, we have the hello world.java file. And then we created another project called Beginner Project 2. And we have the com service package. Inside that, we have the hello service.class. And we also know that the Beginner Project 1 depends on the Beginner Project 2 because it refers to a service. So if you open com main hello world service, I open with the notepad++, and you can see it imports the package hello service, and then it makes use of the hello service, which is in another project. So the reason we did an example like that is just to show that how we can manage some kind of dependencies between projects. So when you build on enterprise level projects, you will be having multiple projects, and one project will be depending on the other project, and so on. Also, it is important to note that inside the project itself, we have a bin folder. Bin folder is where the generated .class files will be going. So in other words, the binary file, the bytecode files will be going. So inside that, you have com main hello world class. So similar structure will be maintained for the Beginner Project 2 as well, bin folder. And don't worry about these .class path and .project file. This basically Eclipse has created these metadata files. So one is to store all the class path related information, and other one is to store all the project related information. So if you want to have a quick look, so this is where the Eclipse manage everything via something called the natures, and natures is just saying there's a JDT core nature and so on. So these are some of the metadata that gets used by Eclipse IDE itself. There's another thing which I didn't mention is, in order to install Eclipse, you need to have Java, because Eclipse is written in Java, and you need to have a Java home everything set up to be able to install Eclipse. And if you look at the Eclipse installation folder, so let's go into C Tools, Eclipse. This is where we install Eclipse. So eclipse.exe is the file that you run, and Eclipse ini is an initialization file. This is where some of the configuration. So when you install Eclipse, it'll automatically look for Java home if it is already installed, and then it will set up this eclipse.ini file. So if you open the eclipse.ini file, basically it got some startup thing to say how to start up, and then the more important thing is you will see it has already set up your Java home. So if you look at -vm here, or -vm, it says our virtual machine is C Tools JDK. This is where our Java home is, and JRE bin. So this is a runtime environment, and this is under bin is where you have the java.exe file, and also it specifies the heap memory space. So it starts with 256 megabytes, and the maximum is about 1 gig. So if you need more grunt and more memory and so on, you can come to this ini file and you can increase these heap sizes. And obviously you need to note down this is the JDK home the Eclipse has been set up with. So next task is these projects that were created outside Eclipse. Let's go and bring in these. So these are basic projects. They're nothing. They're not Mavenized, and let's go and import this or bring it into Eclipse and work with those, because Eclipse is kind of a productivity tool, so it makes things easier than working with Notepad++. So let's go back into Eclipse, and Eclipse provide number of different ways to import projects. So if it is a Maven project, there is a way to import. Eclipse provides a lot of templates and wizards, so it helps you guide you through a process. So in this case, when you do import, so if it is in Maven, you will be saying install or deploy an existing Maven project. So you'll be importing as an existing Maven project. So in this case, we are going to import projects from a folder or an archive. So archive is a jar file. In this case, we already have a folder which has got all the Java projects. So we're going to import from there. So when you go next, it'll be asking for that directory. So let's go and select the directory, C, it'll be under projects, and beginner project 1, that's what we're interested in. So I've selected the beginner project 1, then I say finish. Now that the beginner project is important and things are not quite set up correctly inside Eclipse because we didn't create the project in the first place from within Eclipse. So if you're creating something within Eclipse, you'll be saying file, new, and then you'll saying a new Java project, and then there will be a wizard that pops up and it takes you through different steps. In this case, now we need to set it up so that it'll work well with Eclipse. So you right click. So there are menu at the top. There's a global menu, and for each project you can bring up a contextual menu or contextual pop-up. So when you right click on this beginner project 1, this thing pops up. So you will be using this quite a lot, and inside that there's a thing called build path. You can either configure the build path or you can select properties at the bottom. So actually this property is outside the viewing window, but you will see out of these methods at the bottom you will see properties. So if I click on properties, I can select something called Java build path, and here you have the source folders. It's saying your project 1. So you got to say add source folder, and you got to say our source folder is here. It starts from com main is so from this package level onward, that's our source. So you select OK and you say yes, and it automatically says your project, and there'll be a bin/bin. So that's where all our binary files are. Now it looks fine, and inside the libraries you can say it's using JRE library JDK. So this is where the library is. So this is where the rt.jar is. You can see the rt.jar here, and then you can change the orders here. I'll come back to this in a minute, and then this is set up. So now we say apply and say OK. Now you can see this is our source folder, and then everything you've been, so this is where we already built it outside. This is the jar file, and then this is the JRE library which got rt.jar with all the API libraries. Now we'll do exactly the same setup for the beginner project 2. So I have imported the beginner project 2, and then I'm setting up the Java build path. I'm saying Java build path project 2 com is where the source folder starts from, and this is where the binary is, and then I say apply and OK. So actually I have to fix it up. It was a mistake. The source folder should be the beginner project 1 itself, and then wherever the generated classes will go into beginner project 1/bin. So we already have a bin folder, so that's how it should have been set up as, and apply OK, and do the same thing for the beginner project 2 as well. So go into right click to bring up the contextual menu, go all the way to the bottom for the properties, and then look at the Java build path, and then it's not set up correctly. So you click on add folder, should have been at that level, say OK, and remove this because com is a package. And then beginner project 2, this is where all the source files will go in, and then the bin project 2 and the bin folder is where all the generated class files will go, and apply and say OK. Now there's no error in the beginner project 2 because beginner project 2 does not depend on anything, but the beginner project 1 depends on the beginner project 2 because it's calling the one of the classes in the beginner project service method. So you can also notice the small icon on the left hand side. It says J, so it says it's a Java project. Here also it says J is a Java project. So now we got the beginner project 2, which got a source code com.service is a package, and under the package we got hello service.jar, and here this is the JRE library we got dependency that's got rt.jar. And then in the beginner project 1, now if you look at the problems, it says the project cannot be built until the build path errors are resolved. So there's a build path error because we know that hello. So if you double click on hello world.java, it'll open here. So it's saying I don't know where this com.service hello service is, because it's not inside the beginner-project1. It's actually inside the beginner-project2. So to fix that, we need to say the beginner project 1 depends on beginner project 2. So what do? You select the beginner project 1, right mouse click, that brings up this context menu, go all the way to the bottom and click properties. Then here we need to say projects, and we got to say add the dependency. You select beginner project 2. Okay, now it has taken beginner project 2. You should actually go into the libraries and you say beginner project 2 and apply, and then say okay. So you need to go into libraries. So it says already depends on the JRE library, and because you got rt.jar, and also we need to say it has to rely on beginner project 2 as well. So let's say add class folder, then we go to beginner project 2. All our class files will be going into the bin folder. That's how we have set it up. And then we say okay, and there's a duplicate here. Let's remove that and say apply and say okay. So now this error is gone because now this has been set up with the dependency. So if you go to properties again, you can see inside the libraries the source file. There's a source file, and we say the class file to go into the bin folder here. Then these are the libraries it depends on. So it depends on JRE and also the project 2 bin folder. That's where all the .class files will be generated for the project 2. And now we are ready to go. So if you click on hello world.java, right click, and then if I say run as, here you will say Java application, and inside the console you will see my first Java code without IDE and with packages. Now let's go and change to my first class Java code with IDE, and you save it. It'll automatically compile, because if you go in here project, it says build automatically. So if you want to build it again, because it's automatically built, but for the demonstration purpose, if you want to build it again, you select on the beginner project 1, because this is where the hello world is, where I changed it. Right click on it, right click on it, select it and go to the project, and you say clean, and you say which project you want to run, say project 1, and say okay, and basically we are building it again. Now if you right click on this hello world.java, run as Java application again, now it prints, it says my first Java code with IDE and with packages. A class in another package is called. Let's go and make another change. So I'll go into the beginner project 2, hello service.java, I'll double click on it, and here I'll change this to package is called within Eclipse again. Save it. Because the build mode is set to build automatically it will build the .class file, because we have already set it up. If you right click on it, properties, and say Java build path here, and we are saying here the beginner project 2, which is where the source file is, and then the output will go into default output folder is beginner-project2/bin. So it automatically goes into here beginner project 2 bin. If you look at it com service, you will see hello service is already compiled. Now if I go and run the hello world Java again, you go run as Java application. See, now you'll get a class in another package is called within Eclipse, and here it says IDE and with packages. Now let's look at some of the other salient points or features of Eclipse. It'll do some kind of a contextual help. So for example, if I delete this print method, if I go to hello services, it'll highlight underneath saying that there's nothing called hello serve. So what I do is I click on this and I press my control and space button, See, it did the code complete because it knows there's a hello service. Then I go and press dot in it, and then it is suggesting me what methods are available in hello service. So it's saying, yeah, there's a possibly print method is there. So I select on the print method, remove this, and my code is complete. So it will assist as you start typing your code. Eclipse will do some kind of a code completion or code assistance. So that's another real plus when using some IDE like Eclipse. Another key benefit is if I hover my mouse over print, I press the control button, and then I can see there's an underline that is coming in. So I'm already in a hello world class .java class file. If I go here, press the control button and then say open the implementation, I click on it, and then it goes to my hello service class. Then I can attach a source file saying where my source file is sitting, which is in project 2. I say okay, and here we go. I have opened the hello service. So you can easily navigate from one project to another project, or one class in one project to another class in another project. Now again, I've gone and deleted this import statement that imports the hello service. I've also deleted the call to hello service. Let's see how now Eclipse assists me. So I know something starts with hello, so I go and type hello. Then there's another very handy shortcut key is control space. So I go here, press control and space. See, now it's suggesting me there's a hello world in the com.main package. There is also a hello service in the com.service package. So I will select the hello service, and now I press the dot. So it has gone and imported it, and then now I go and press the dot, and it's telling me there's a print method. I click on the print, and then I save it again. Everything is good to go now. So this is the power of an IDE. There's a link below. I have provided a lot of shortcut keys and tricks that you can use to be more productive. Nobody wants to type lots of code. So if an IDE that can do some kind of a code completion or code assistance, which will make your life a lot easier. If I want to search for a particular Java class or whatever, I can also be here and press Ctrl Shift T, T for type. So it is also same. If you can't remember these short keys, you can also go here, navigate, and say open type, and it says the open type is Ctrl plus Shift plus T. So if you click on it, and if you start typing, so you know that your class starts with something like hello, then it gives you all possible values. So you got a hello service inside the beginner project 1 and this particular package. There's also the hello world and so on. So I have provided a few good examples in this link provided here. Top 10 Eclipse shortcut keys every Java developer using Eclipse IDE must know. There are very handy ones you'll be using very often, with lots of screenshots for you to practice. Another very handy thing is as you start introducing issues, so for example, if you miss out the void, it'll start highlighting, say, something wrong. So if you hover your mouse over here, it says return type for the method is missing. So it's guiding you. So I know that you need a return type. Void means this method doesn't return anything. And also now if I go and save this and I go into hello service, see, we are calling this hello service in a static way. So if I go and change this and take this static out, so this becomes an instance method. So there's nothing wrong with this call here. So because it's an instance method call, I go and save it, and then I go to hello world. Now you will see hello service doesn't like it because you need to create an instance of the hello service, because the method that is there is an instance method. So if I go and delete this and go and press dot, it's not giving me any method that is available for me to use. So if I want to do it other way around, let me create an object of this hello service my service is equal to new hello service. So I have created an object of type service. Now if I go and type svc and press dot, it's giving me these other methods available for me, and one of them should be print. Here is the print. Then you might ask, what are these other methods called wait, toString, etc. In Java, every object extends a super class called object, and this object class has got all these methods. So that's why it's suggesting me these are the available methods. In this case, I'm interested in print, and I save this. Everything is good now. The compiler has gone away, and this is an instance now. Now I can still go and run. Already it has built the .class file because the project is set to automatically build it. And then I go right click, run as Java application. It's all good now. You'll get the same output. Now what if you don't have a project outside Eclipse? You want to create one inside Eclipse itself. I can easily go say file, new, I'll say Java project. I'm going to call it learn-java. Then I go next. It says this is the JRE to use. Yes, we're going to use 1.8. I go next. Source folder will be inside the source folder, suggesting me that's a recommended way. So source code will be inside that. Finish. That's it. I've basically created a learn Java inside Eclipse. If you want to see where it is, you go into C. It would have created inside my workspace. So you go select workspace. Here we go. There's a learn Java. If you click on it, you have the source folder, you got the bin folder, and .class path and .project are basically Eclipse settings. And now you can go in here, you can start creating already it has created a package as well, com.mytutorial. So now you got the learn-java. I right click on it, properties, and then let's go and check the Java build path. And also you can see the resource, and you can see where on the file system it is. So it's under C workspace learn Java. So it's a very handy one, the resource. And then if you want to see what Java compiler it has used, 1.8 is the Java compiler. Then it says the binary files, the generated class files will go inside learn-java inside the bin folder. And then if you look at the libraries, there's no other third-party dependency as such. Only thing it needs is the JRE. So we've got the JRE here, which is the 1.8. Now let's go and create a package inside that. So you say file new package. Let's call it com.mytutorial. Finish. Now we got a package here. You select the package and right mouse click, you bring up this contextual menu, and we got to create a new class file, and let's call it hello world. And it implicitly extends the object. So whether you explicitly say extends object or not, every Java, the class that you create, it extends an object. And then you say finish. It has given you the skeleton thing. It knows that package is already in the com.mytutorial. It has given you the hello world. Now you can either type in the main method or make use of an IDE's feature, like you type in the main, you know that the method starts with main, and then you press Control and space, and it is suggesting you main-main method, which is public static void main string. So it will save you typing all these. You select this, and here we go, you got the skeleton now. Now I'm going to type in system, systm. We know that this is in the Java lang class. So I press, after typing in system, it still got this red squiggly little thing. I press Control space. It's saying yes, there's a system class in the Java lang inside the rt.jar package. Then I click on that and then say dot. I'm interested in the out. So out is a public static variable inside, so which is visible. So F means field, S means static. So I click on out, and inside out there should be a static method called println. So I select print line, and then within quotes I'll say simple Java app inside Eclipse. Go and save it here. No squiggly little things, compiling is fine. And if I want to see the class file, it has said I go outside, C, workspace, learn Java, it goes inside the bin, my tutorial, here we go, hello world.class. Now I go and from the left hand side, I select the hello world.java, right click on it, run as Java application. There's our simple Java app inside Eclipse. That's all for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will see how to use Eclipse with Maven. That is what you'll be using in most of the industrials and projects. You'll be using Eclipse with Maven, and when you do that, you will be saying J plus M. So that means it's a Java project, but it is a Mavenized Java project. And you will see some links below that will take you through whatever we went through step by step, everything in here. And also there's another link that will tell you some of the hotkeys to use with Eclipse.